Good morning on this blustery day. I am just getting ready to go and get my hair done, and I kind of feel like this is the start of my summer year of bridal renovations. I'm going to choose a colour. I'm going to trial it now for the colour that I'll have later in the year. So let's go. And here we are, coming home. Loving the new looks. Wow, what a way to start today's vlog. Yes, I've got a new do. I've been sporting it for a couple of days now. It was really lovely to get into the salon on Saturday and just talk about what I want my hair colour and style to be for when I get married later this year. And just honestly to have a bit of pampering time, because everything has felt a little bit full on so far this year with just mum life and planning for the wedding and work. So it was just really nice to get those couple of hours and just feel really spoiled and come away feeling fabulous. It has been a busy weekend and it's Monday morning now before work starts. David's on doing the school run and I'm going to take the opportunity to get a quick workout in. This is something that I have been doing, I want to say since the end of May. So I have been doing a daily workout early in the morning, and then later on in the day, normally after Finn's gone to bed or sometimes just after dinner before he goes to bed, we also go for a walk, or I go on my own for a walk. So it's kind of like 2 workouts in a day. And I've also significantly changed my eating habits, I suppose, because I am trying to get a bit svelter for the wedding. Is svelte even a word? I'm not sure. Slimmer? I don't know. I want to feel better for the wedding. Anyway, I've ordered my dress and it fits me just as I am and it looks fabulous. So I don't need to lose any weight or change my figure at all for the wedding. But this is about me, my mindset, what will make me feel good. And I will know that if I've tried my best and I feel a bit more toned and a bit more energized on the day, that I will feel happier. So that's why I'm doing it. So back on the eating side of things, I've basically cut my meals down to 2 meals a day. I don't snack in between. My first meal of the day is pretty much always the same thing, and that is a yogurt, like a Greek yogurt with banana, some granola, loads of seeds and nuts and stuff. So I just have a small bowl of that. And then dinner is normally with Finn when he gets home from school. And so I haven't really changed what I'm eating so much. We already eat reasonably healthy. Our food is pretty much all home cooked. David does our cooking, amazing. And we buy, wherever we can, we buy fresh and organic. So we eat pretty healthy. But portion control for me, I think, is the name of the game. So I decided that unless I'm eating a salad, I am eating from a side plate. And it's stopping me just piling my plate full of food. So that's been really effective. And in the, well, it must be getting on for 30 days that I've been doing this, I have lost about 8 pounds. So that's really good. It fluctuates a lot. My weight does fluctuate a lot, and I think, say, after a weekend like the weekend I've just had, it goes up a couple of pounds and then I get back on it and it comes down again and hopefully a bit more. So yeah, that is the journey that I'm on still with my fitness, and honestly I think it's a lifelong journey for me. It's never going to end, and it shouldn't, right? Where fitness, health, wellness should be a lifelong habit, a lifelong decision. just getting ourselves into rituals and routines that sit well with us. And I have to say, when I'm in my flow with it, and when I know what I'm doing with my workouts, I've just got a plan, I feel so much happier as a person. It's almost aside from the fact that I'm doing the workouts and eating the better or the smaller portions of food. It's about the fact that I'm in control that always makes me feel amazing. And if I ever get a day or a couple of days where I feel like I've not done it, I feel out of control and it affects my psychology. I have to really pull myself around to get back into it. So yeah, it's really interesting. I'm still learning with all of this, what works for me and what doesn't, but I'm still doing my home workout. So if you've been with me for a little while, you'll know that for many years I did Beachbody, or Body as it rebranded to. I was for quite a long time a Beachbody coach, which I loved. I absolutely loved that. The community from it and just feeling again in control and like I was really doing things not just for myself but for other people was incredible. I'm not a Beachbody coach anymore, but not particularly through my own choosing. Beachbody had a bit of a pivot. Was it January? No, it was last year. Last year, I know exactly when it happened. I was in Fiji when I got all the notifications, and they've changed their business model, so they don't have coaches anymore in the kind of sense that they'd always had them. They now have an affiliate marketing model for people to support them, but it's only for the US and I think maybe Canada, certainly not for the UK. So I am still a customer of their online fitness programs. I love them. I always want to be doing those. I may mix in some others in time. I might have a look at some Apple programs, maybe on YouTube as well. And I might even try and go and do some fitness somewhere like Pilates or something. I'm curious about this reformer Pilates with all the machines and how that is. But in terms of products, so this is Beachbody's Energize. It's a pre-workout drink that I've taken for years, and it just really helps me just get into my workouts and do my workouts. And I'm getting near the end of my stockpile that I bought when I found out that Body was finishing selling products in the UK. So I am starting to get a bit like, what am I going to do without my pre-workout? I love it. It really helps me, even if it's just psychologically, get to that place for doing the workout. So if you know of a good pre-workout, one that is good quality, good ingredients, doesn't give you the jitters, tastes nice, please let me know. Equally, my collagen supply has nearly run out, so they're the two big ones for me, I think, the pre-workout and the collagen, so I'm on the hunt. So today's video is kind of a bit of a mix, I suppose, of things that I've been getting up to over the last week or so. You've already seen I took you to the hairdressers with me. I'm going to show you a bit of the garden, so how the growing is going this year. And I am going to take you to our wedding venue. Only briefly, I actually went last night, so I've already taken you technically. I'm going to insert it in a minute. I went with my parents. There was a really thought-provoking evening that the venue had put on, all about learning about our soil. I know this may sound a little bit counterintuitive for a wedding venue, but it's not just a wedding venue where we're getting married. It's not even a hotel. I just think it's I don't know what you'd call it. It's just in a world of its own. It's restaurants, it's a manor house, it's a place where they are trying as much as they can to grow their own food or source locally and really ethically. And they have a Michelin star. One of their restaurants is Michelin starred. The other one is equally as fabulous. I've eaten there a couple of times. And I just absolutely love this venue. I'm going to tell you the name in a minute. I love the venue partly because it's within a 20-minute drive of our home, and I'd never heard of it until about a year and a half ago, and sometimes I just feel like the universe sends us things when we need them. I was feeling a little bit disillusioned with the hotels and offerings that were near to us for hosting a wedding, and we started looking, and I kind of stumbled on this place through a internet search and kind of thought, I've never heard of this place, what is it? And I like the website, I like the ethos that they were talking about, sent off for some more information. Eventually David and I went and looked round. And what happened is after it was really the first proper venue that we'd looked around once we'd decided we were going to get married. And we went and looked around and we really liked it, but we felt that we couldn't commit to just going for it there and then. We should carry on and look around at other venues. So we went and looked at least 2 more, I would say, maybe a few more than that. Yeah, it was more than 2. And what we found ourselves doing is every place we went, we'd then come home and we'd be comparing it to our venue. And that gave us all that we needed to know to say, you know what, that's where we should get married. So, where are we getting married, you ask? We are getting married at Hampton Manor in Hampton in Arden. And like I say, I absolutely love this venue. We are doing more than just getting married there this year. I am also having some of my birthday celebrations there this year with some private dining. We're going to go to the Michelin-starred restaurant. Last night I took my parents and we went to this special evening. It was a bit of a one-off. They wanted to do a screening of a film that's all about the soil. I think it's called 6 Inches Under. It's all about like the top layer of soil, and it was a really good documentary film. If you are at all interested in gardening, farming, if you watch anything like Clarkson's Farm recently and those sort of programs, it's fascinating to learn about the soil on our land, how we perhaps haven't farmed it as best as we could until now. What it really taught me is about the different types of farming that exist. There's like the farming that supports the major supermarkets, mass farmers, I forget the exact word that they use for it, but where they've got all the machinery, they're using pesticides and herbicides and fungicides to get the crops, the biggest yield. And then it goes on to the supermarkets. And then at the other end of the extreme is organic farmers who, there must be some form of accreditation and checks that they have to get to be certified as fully organic. But they are like the complete opposite. They're often smaller. They don't use all of those pesticides and herbicides, etc. So they're really thinking about and caring about the land where the food is come from and the cattle and the animals that they care for. And then somewhere in the middle is what is called regenerative farming, and I'd never heard of this. And so this is farmers who perhaps they're not ready. Going organic is a lot to get to that point, but they have become disillusioned with the kind of, it's not corporate, but the kind of the other way of farming, the mainstream way of farming. It doesn't feel right with all of the pesticides, etc., that need to be used, and just not looking after the soil, repetitive farming, doing the same crops over and over, so it's not giving the soil a chance to regenerate. And so they look for a different way to farm and start shifting from that way of farming to maybe back a little bit in time to like I think is it the Industrial Revolution, when the farming kind of era really kicked off in that sense. And just really starting to think more about the soil in their farm, the crops that they're growing, how they can do crop rotation and really, care for their farms. So it was brilliant to watch the film. But before that, we started off by going to the Manor House and having cake, a welcome drink and listening to some vinyl, which was wonderful. This is something that Hampton Manor do every day at check-in time. So as you go and check into, if you're going to stay overnight, because it is a hotel, If you go and check in, you can go down and just get yourself some cake, a welcome drink, and listen to some tunes. And so that was such a lovely way to start the afternoon. And then after, we just had a chance to relax and have a chat. And then we went and joined another thing that they do every day, which is called Swig. And it's wine tasting. And I love wine tasting. It is something that I really enjoy. I am not a wine connoisseur, but I love the experience of it. I love how it gets people talking. I love learning about wines and tasting different wines. So we went and walked to their Michelin-starred restaurant, which is called Grace and Savour, and we went and did wine tasting with the owner of Hampton Manor. So that was wonderful. There was a lot of people at this one, because I have been to one once before and there was about 3 or 4 couples on that occasion, but this one there was quite a lot of us. But it was really lovely. We learnt a lot. And then after that, we walked back up to the manor house, and oh my goodness, this was so lovely. We sat outside under this kind of wooden gazebo that they've built, and they had 3 long trellis tables laid out for everyone to have supper together. And I felt the sun was shining, it was a beautiful evening, and it felt like we were somewhere like in Spain or the Mediterranean, sat outside just eating together and enjoying good food. And boy was it good food. It was lamb with, there was some potatoes and various vegetables in there, delicious sauce. And yeah, so that was wonderful. We went in, we watched the screening, and then they did a little interval halfway through, and brought us bread and butter pudding to our seats and had that. So that was wonderful. And at the end, they did a panel with some of the local farmers, and they had a shepherdess there. So it was wonderful to see everything that was going on so locally to where I live, and I really do want to start to try shopping more locally for our food. We currently use Ocado because having done a review of all of the supermarkets, and this was a number of years ago to be fair, we found that they were the supermarket that offered the best choice of organic foods. And we have, as a family, have been eating organic probably for about 8 years, I would say now. And it is a life decision to do that. I would highly recommend it if you can. However, it's expensive. I'm not going to lie. Organic food comes with a premium. And we do it because we want our food to be as clean as possible, without pesticides used on them, without antibiotics pumped into animals to plump them up and things like that. So it's a conscious decision to buy organic food, and I would love to find and buy from more local organic farmers for our food. But yes, if you can, move yourself towards shopping locally, buying from farmers who are using regenerative practices, and even moving towards buying your food organically, even if it's not all of it, just some of it. What it will do for you in terms of your health, the taste and quality of your food, is that's the big takeaway that my mum and dad came away with from last night. They said that they are going to start eating a lot more organic food. So that being said, I will insert a bit of video from last night. Didn't manage to get much, but I did get a little, so I'll insert that now and see you in a bit. That's where we're going when we come for my birthday. That's the Michelin star one. Right.
Just to introduce Grace and Savour as a concept. So the idea of Grace was to talk about, as we'll hear about tonight in the film, just when we work with the land, it has an ability to give an abundance, and more than enough. And we loved how Grace sort of pointed to that sort of generosity. of how the land can be generous to us, and savour was the invitation to the table. And the vision for this project was this courtyard, which the minute you cross this threshold was an immersive 24 hours of culinary pleasure, but also some meaning and purpose beneath that story as you enjoy over 14 courses during a 3-hour experience in the evening. But for those that check in early, they've all got lounges looking onto the kitchen, and you start anticipating dinner from the very moment you arrive, and big baths where we've got bath salts that have been made from things in the garden, which are all part of that sort of immersive sensory journey. So we're going to go in, sit down, and we'll pour some wine. It means you can keep drinking all night. So yeah, so good to have you. So this is John and Steph, and John is someone who grows grain for us.
I was eating them, enjoying them, and one Easter my family came for Easter, and I only had one leg of lamb, so I thought that's not going to be enough for my big eating family. So I went to the butcher and I bought a leg of lamb, and it came from it was grown on the same land, I cooked it the same, it looked the same, but it tasted completely different.
So, what did you think of Hampton Manor? I know I could only get a few little glimpses of it for you, but I hope you enjoyed just seeing a little bit about where we'll be going later this year. I am excited. And now I want to take you out into our garden and show you how our little kitchen garden is coming along, the vegetables and plants that I'm growing this year. If you're a bit of a novice or budding gardener like me, perhaps you'll enjoy just seeing what we're doing here. So let's go. Pumpkins, marigolds, another pumpkin plant, marigolds, space for more plants here and here. And then coming along here, I've just planted some carrots. Just planted these out. These are pepper plants that have been growing indoors. These are carrots. One is kind of not really growing there, but 3 are. Lettuce that my dad just brought over. He started for me and he's planted that. Iceberg lettuces having a go at here. Some spinach there, that's spinach. And then these ones here are rocket. 3 I planted out a while ago. This one I only planted out in the week. I've been growing it indoors. And then these are some lettuces. Most of these I started outside, there and there. These 2 I started inside, then transplanted them out, and they all seem to be doing as well as the other really. And then I've just got some marigolds on the end there. And here we've got a rosemary plant, a rose. I'm not sure how this is doing. It did flower earlier, so that's good, but it's looking a little bit like it needs some TLC. And here's the rosemary. It did have some oregano behind it, but that's not looking very good. I'm not sure what's happened there. It was growing. I don't know if the heat's finished it off. And that is the extent of the kitchen garden at the moment. Just planted this out today. My brother-in-law gave me the planter, filled it with some soil that we bought from Garden Centre. I've grown all of these herbs from seed, so I've got thyme, lemon balm, some chives, tarragon and basil. Pleased with that. I've got room for something else here, not sure what I'll put in there yet, but yeah. Wow, I just love getting out in the garden, especially on a Sunday afternoon and pottering, planting some plants from seed and just seeing what happens. I like to think of myself as an experimental gardener, and it's fun, right, to experiment and play. Well, I still need to get my workout done. I hope that you've enjoyed today's video. If you've got any comments about the gardening or anything about Hampton Manor, any questions to ask me, drop them in the comments below and I'll look to pick them up in one of my next videos. I think that's pretty much everything for today. I'm going to get on with my workout, so I'm going to say bye for now and see you next time.